The heart is the most powerful source of electromagnetic energy in the human body, producing the largest rhythmic electromagnetic field of any of the body's organs. The heart's electrical field is about 60 times greater in amplitude than the electrical activity generated in the brain. The heart is also the first organ to develop in the human body. When we look at the chromosomes, we got XX chromosome, which is a woman or a woman, and then we got XY chromosome, which is a man. So we got an X, right, in front of the Y, and that means the woman or the woman comes first, or the feminine comes first. When it comes to the law of attraction, many law of attraction teachings speak about the mind, right? The subconscious mind. Even I speak about this, and it's very important to work on your subconscious mind because that is actually the feminine. The conscious mind is the masculine. But overall, the mind is the masculine in general. Like the mind is the masculine, the heart is the feminine, but the heart is something that's not talked about quite a lot in the law of attraction community. Neville Goddard had a teaching or lecture called "The Feeling is the Secret." Right, the feeling is the secret. So why aren't more people talking about your feelings and your emotions when it comes to the law of attraction? Like it literally is more powerful than your brain. And also, when my perspective of the law of attraction is that the more healed your heart is, the more clear your heart is. This is not even a perspective. I have true, powerful results from my customers and clients who actually work on their heart. All right, the more that they work on their heart, they become more expansive, and actually their vibration goes up, not just by being happier or by, you know, feeling better. Their actual vibration, the way that the universe perceives them, it improves significantly when they heal the crap that's going on around their heart. The heart is the feminine, and if you look at a woman or a woman, right, she's the receiver. Right, if we look at her yoni, right, her vagina, it's inward, right? It goes inward. It's the receiver. It's just like when you put a plug in the socket, right? When you put a plug in the socket, the receiver, the wall, the thing on the wall that you plug it into is the feminine. It's the receiver. The poking stuff that's in the actual plug, that's the masculine, and you put the masculine and the feminine together. Even with a battery, right, we have a positive side and a negative side, right? And so we need to understand that the feminine is the receiver, the heart is the receiver. And so when it comes to the law of attraction, we need to figure out how to receive more, right? We need to learn how to be able to open ourselves up to allowing more in our life. So one of the main things that we need to work on is transmutation, taking one thing and transmuting it into another thing. Kind of like alchemy, right? You're taking one thing and you're changing it into something else. And so we've all been through stuff, right? We all have a past, we all have a history, we all have an ancestry, we all have past lives, if you believe in past lives. And we have to understand that we have certain belief systems, certain thought processes, certain values, certain structures within our mind that limit our success, and we can only get so far in terms of receiving with the law of attraction. Now, in our past, if we've been through pain and trauma and anxiety and being bullied, and we've had divorces and breakups and all of this stuff, this is within our memory, right? Our memory is the past, right? Or should I say the past is just a memory. Past doesn't actually exist. It's in the mind, and it's something that we can recall and bring into the now. And so we have to acknowledge that the memories that we have of our past, the memories within our DNA, the memories within our subconscious mind, the memories of our feelings and our emotional body, right? We have to acknowledge that this is a part of our vibration, right? Because we hold these things within us. Now, I don't believe that the mind or body forgets. I just believe that over time, we consciously forget certain things and we believe that we're healed. But in actuality, we're carrying a lot of garbage because we haven't been taught how to use our emotions properly. And so Usually when we go through a bad experience, we experience it and it stays with us because we haven't been taught how to transmute our energy into something positive. What I've learned through my journey is to build a relationship with negative things, or what my ego judges as something negative. The more I build a relationship with what's bad inside and outside of me, the more I create a sense of equanimity with inside of myself, which is basically like a stillness, like this, right? You're just calm and you're peaceful, and when things go bad, you can sort of manage your emotions way better. And that's not to say I don't feel bad. I feel bad and I experience the bad, but I got a relationship with the bad, so it doesn't feel as bad as the next person, right? So I've developed a relationship with what we call negativity. I also understand that anything that's judged as negative or anything that's judged as positive is always the ego. Only the ego can think something is negative and something is positive. Just like the ego can only say this is feminine, this is masculine, this is positive, this is negative, this is up, this is down, this is left, this is right. So our ego comes up with these concepts. We're living in a reality of duality and polarity. And so these things do exist based on ego and opposites, but in spirituality, there is no left and right, up and down, yin and yang. It just is, right? The masculine and feminine have come together as one. I call this God or unconditional love, right? And so maybe you call that universe or Jesus or God or Allah or whatever it is, right? And so it's important for us to really understand that when something is negative, it's a instrument or it's a tool that we can get to use to facilitate the life that we want, because life is always teaching us something, right? And so when you feel negative emotions, negative feelings, when you have negative thoughts, be okay with it, accept it, okay? Because when you accept it, now it's like you're not fighting it. When you fight something, when you war against something, you beget more war, right? And now it becomes a part of your being, it becomes a part of your subconscious mind, it becomes a part of your memory, and then you're focusing in on it even more, that you don't want to feel this feeling, you're fighting the feeling, and so you're creating a snowball, more and more of it, and then you wonder why it's showing up more and more in the future. You are literally manifesting more of it. Now, if you're just observing the emotion whilst feeling it, experiencing it, you are welcoming it, you are accepting it and allowing it to be, right? And even bringing it in and feeling it more is a very powerful way to overcome it. And also the next step would be to learn the lessons from it, all right? So if you've had a hard time with something, usually it's teaching you to figure out what you do want, right? It's there to help you navigate into where you need to be. Sometimes life goes wrong over and over again, because it's a cycle of like a teacher. If you could imagine a principal or a teacher in front of the class repeating the same thing over and over again, because you're not retaining it, like you're not absorbing it, you're not retaining it, you can't recall it back and tell the teacher exactly what they said. The universe is just going to keep on teaching you until you acknowledge the lesson and you realize that this is something that I need to improve on, get better at, change, transmute, let go of. And once you acknowledge it, let go of it, think differently about it, have a new perspective on it, change your emotions around it, guess what? That emotion's no longer in your body. It's no longer a part of your vibration. It's no longer a part of your subconscious mind. You've desensitized it in a way. You've kind of moved past that completely, right? And as you move past that, you're creating space for what you do want, because now you've learned the lessons, you've learned a new perspectives, you've learned what you do want. So now you can focus on that and actually manifest that way easier. Just imagine you just learn to love what's negative in the world. Just imagine that, like you learn to love what's negative within. Number one, if you learn to love what's negative within, you're literally loving all aspects of yourself. When you deny an aspect of yourself, guess what? You create disharmony within inside of yourself. And when you create disharmony inside of yourself, you then judge yourself more. And so it's creating a never-ending cycle of you judging yourself. It's a never-ending cycle, and you're manifesting more of what you don't want. However, if you love the negative side of yourself, if you love the negative aspect of yourself and you welcome it and you build a relationship with it, guess what? Now you have a relationship with it, you have a bond with it, and the cycle doesn't continue anymore. And you've embraced this aspect of yourself, and now you're loving yourself whole and complete. What about the world? There's negative stuff going on in the world all the time, but there's also positive stuff going on in the world all the time. We tend to focus on what's negative because what bleeds leads. Whatever bleeds leads our mind. Whatever's negative leads our mind, because we have this part of our brain called the reptilian brain, and negative stuff just grabs our attention. So we have to consciously not look at what's negative and build a positive environment for ourselves. And also building a relationship with what's negative in the world. Otherwise, you'll always feel pain, you always feel suffering, you always feel, this is going wrong, why are things like this? And that creates disharmony within the self, and you create disharmony within the self, and then you now attract scenarios, circumstances and events which make you see more of that. And so it's just a never-ending cycle. But again, if you build a relationship with it, if you learn to welcome the negative, if you learn to literally love the negative aspects of the life the same way you love the positive aspects of life, if you learn to love the negative aspects, you now see more of the positive aspects. I don't even call it positive anymore. I just call it is, because it just is. There is no negative or positive to me. It just is. When it comes down to it, it's like purifying your mind, right? You're purifying your soul, right? You're purifying the way that you think about reality in general. So like I was saying, as we begin to embrace both parts, right? As we begin to embrace both parts, we create this isness or equanimity within inside of ourselves, and that makes us go up. Like there is no up really, but it's just like we're at a different level of consciousness, right? So we can say raise our vibration as if there's like the low vibration is bad. This is another concept, that low vibration is not bad. If you judge it as bad, it's bad, right? And so if you judge like a high vibration as good, it's like we have to realize our ego is going to judge things. And so a negative vibration is not bad, it's just different. A high vibration is not bad, it's just different. All right. And so when we can begin to truly accept this fact, all right, and imagining how God would think, or how the universe will think, or how unconditional love will think, now you're going to see the law of attraction work in very, very powerful ways. And so for me, when it comes to manifesting things in the material world, I tend to stay away from it, particularly because I don't need anything, because I'm a spiritual being. Should I say I don't want for anything. I need things to survive, but to want things, there's only a few things I want to be happy in life. Most of my happiness comes from within, and mastering emotion, mastering myself, mastering the negative, mastering the positive, mastering the yin, mastering the yang, the feminine, the masculine, and merging duality into the oneness, into unconditional love, into peace. Overall, I think this is what the universe is trying to teach everybody, right? To get back to self, to get back to the heart. And not that the mind is not important. The mind is important, it's very, very powerful, but I think the heart comes before the mind, right? The heart comes before the mind, comes before logic. Our world can, if we look at the external world, a lot of it's messed up, right? And that's because people been functioning from their ego. People been functioning from logic and their mind. Most people don't function from their heart. And so do the opposite sometimes. Do the opposite on what people are telling you to do, except for this video. Because you genuinely know this, right? You intuitively know, based on what I've told you about the electromagnetic energy from the heart and how the heart is the first organ to grow in the body. You know that the feminine comes first because of the XY chromosome. You know that every human being comes from a woman, right? So, you know, the facts are there right in front of you that the heart comes first. Emotion comes first before the logic, all right? And so we need to learn that in our world, everyone's focused on ego. Get back to the heart and use the mind as a secondary thing to navigate this reality. So here's what you need to do. Number one, listen to your heart more, right? Get in tune with your heart and what your heart is saying, and stop overriding your heart with your mind, okay? Stop overriding it. The more that you do that, the more that you'll create a life of misery. All right. So sometimes, in some cases, you do need to override the heart, but the heart is very, very intelligent, and it's a brain within itself. All right. And so you got to listen to your heart more. Number two, heal your heart. How do you heal your heart? You got to heal your past, right? Or heal your memory, right? You got to heal the things that you've been through in your life. The more you heal, the more you raise your vibration. The more you open your heart, the more your heart's open, the more you need to protect it, but the better the law of attraction works for you. So make sure to be creating those boundaries and red flags and certain things that you don't want to invite into your life, and set those boundaries and enforce them, okay, once you open your heart more and more. So basically here, you got to do the healing, all right? And one of the exercises you can do is begin dropping down. A lot of us are stuck in our heads. So you just imagine your mind or consciousness dropping down into the heart space. So just imagine dropping down into your heart space, because you can actually do it. If you close your eyes right now and try this, you will see that you can do it. You can literally take your consciousness and put it into your big toe, right? You can imagine that you're inside your big toe or in your foot, and you can feel your consciousness in your big toe and your foot. Okay, so you bring your consciousness into your heart area and just keep your consciousness around that particular area throughout your day. And just remember to come back to your heart and breathe in, breathe out, let stress go of the day, and use your mind to be strategic. Use your heart to live and be with life. So if you want a reading on your heart and where it's at and what's holding you back and what's blocking you, I have a free energy reading and manifestation diagnosis session in the description. And check out this video over here on why you're not getting started on your dream, why you're procrastinating on your dream, and how to overcome that. I hope you enjoyed this video over here. And remember to keep learning, keep growing, keep expanding, and I'll speak to you soon. Peace.